Hi there, I'm Coach Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, has it been too long for your ex to come back? We're going to be talking about the truth of no contact and second chances.
I know many of you are watching the clock when you're in no contact.
Oh, it is so confusing when you're going through a breakup that you're wondering, well, it's too long now. I saw comments just today. Oh, it's been 2 months and my ex hasn't reached out. I know we're done. No, you don't. Exes come back after 2 months. They come back after 2 years. They come back after 20 years. Mm-hmm. We've seen, I know off the top of my head, we saw like 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
We saw
I do remember that.
37 years and I think 27 years are the three oldest ones that I can remember off the top of my head. So exes come back all the time after years. Now, we're not telling
we're not saying to wait that long.
Don't
Just
put your life on hold.
Yeah.
I can see the comments. I'm not putting my life on hold that long. We're not telling you to. But we are telling you that exes do come back. So if you think and you're convinced that they won't, there's a good chance that you will, especially when you go right into no contact or no reaching out as we teach it. Human emotions, our bonds, our connections, our attachments, they don't have a strict expiration date. It's not milk.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's not how attachment and bonding works. Bonding and love can last for years. Now, it doesn't mean that they'll even come back, but when you're convinced that an ex isn't going to think about you or ever reach out, many times it has to do with your own attachment issues and what it was like for you growing up. Because even after years, exes have memories, unresolved feelings, nostalgia can be strong for them, and life can change for them. They could go through another breakup and then they come back to you. But psychology shows that the neural pathways that we create and we form with somebody, they don't just magically disappear.
Right. And many exes, they realize what they've lost after they've had that time to process, right? They don't really feel that absence yet until they're able to have some time, be able to process the separation itself, and then see how life changes and how their daily habits are different outside of that initial stage of relief that they go through. So no contact, it creates that space. It creates that time for them to reflect. It creates that time for them to miss you. Something that we've said in other videos before is you can't miss something that's there.
That's true.
Right? Maybe in a poetic way you can, but really you can't, right? It takes that distance to be able to create that longing, to be able to create some of that desire. And so in no contact, we're allowing that space for our ex to process and, hopefully, if you're trying to repair the relationship, for that desire to spark, right? So that's the theory. You also have to give enough time for curiosity to form. When we're going through a breakup, we are going through so many feelings and emotions, and the person that we had just ended the relationship with is somebody that we would have told all of those things to, right? All of those feelings, all of that heartache, that probably was our emotional support. So now it can feel kind of like this void to be in a breakup and have all these feelings where they don't really have a place to go. And so we feel that need to want to tell them everything that we're feeling and going through and doing and experiencing in life. But we need to have some space in order for there to be curiosity. If they know everything, if they know how heartbroken you are and everything that you're learning and doing, then there's no wonder. There's no mystery there.
There's no fear.
Right. And that as well. And so this is not, no contact is not a way to manipulate someone. We're not trying to make anybody do anything. We can't. But it's just giving the relationship some time to breathe, some space to breathe, and seeing what that does for each person, giving that time for self-reflection.
Yeah, because people do change and people grow and their perspective can change over time and space. And when you reflect on things and you consider, okay, what was I doing that was unhealthy in this relationship? What can I do different? Sometimes exes date other people. Sometimes you date other people and you wind up getting back with them. Sometimes personal struggles come up in their life. They lose family, they lose friends, they lose jobs. A lot of things can happen and people gain clarity on different things and maybe a problem that they thought wouldn't change or was too big to change. After some time, they realized the problem wasn't as big as it felt, or they have a new perspective on it. And maybe you were right about some of the things that you said and your views on it, and vice versa. So if you use your time in no contact for personal growth, those of you that are really, really doing it, not constantly looking for easy answers, you really got to look within yourself. Therapy, reading books, talking about things, putting words to it, doing the creative healing course or the workbooks, 30 minutes a day makes a huge difference over time. When they come back, you're going to be far more likely to turn that situation around.
And I also want to add that no contact provides clarity for both of you, right? When there is that space from each other, then you are left to face yourself. We talk a lot about how relationships are mirrors. And a lot of times we don't realize that when we're in it, right? We're just pointing the finger and saying, it's all you, and I can't believe it, and you're making me do that, and you're the reason why I'm tired. But when we're having space from all of that, we're able to face ourselves and see those issues come up for themselves, and have a better chance at looking at them head on rather than trying to blame. So over time, another thing that can happen is you evolve and you grow as they evolve and change too. And there can be the one that got away syndrome, right? They start to wonder, man, I'm seeing some of my own flaws just having to face myself without being in this relationship, and thinking this person supported me in these ways that I can see now that I couldn't before. So
they realize the grass isn't greener.
Yeah, a lot of things change. And they also tend to idealize those positive memories, and the anger, the intensity of the emotion right at the breakup tends to subside over time. This happens a lot. When you're in the heat of an argument, you might say things, you might be super heated and your body is super riled up, and it takes time, even like physiologically in your body, for you to calm down, for your heartbeat to get back to like a nice resting rate, for you to be able to feel, more at peace and more at calm. And so we need time for that.
Check your smartwatches for your pulse. You're resting at
everyone going through a breakup, their smartwatches are going haywire.
I wonder if it alerts you're going through a breakup.
They should have that.
They should. They really should.
They should.
Listen, we see real success stories all the time. I know it's very hard to believe that you'll be a success story. Most people think they're not going to be a success story. Most people think their situation isn't going to be the one that changes. You got to do the work. Stay focused on that. Have the belief that you're going to have the opportunity to turn things around, and you'll be a lot more positive. Negativity is not going to help you. You may feel like it's protecting you, but it's actually keeping you from growing. So we see people get back with their ex after 6 months. We see exes reach out after 6 months all the time.
Yeah.
Weekly.
Yeah.
On a weekly basis, I see that. No doubt. And I get clients all the time. I had a client recently that got back with their ex for years. And you know who it was, too. You did a coaching with them years ago. I'll have to watch. Let's see if Victoria knows who it is. They had a really deep voice.
I don't know.
You don't know who it is?
No.
I'm surprised. I really figured you remember this guy.
All the people with the deep voice now are in the comments.
No, there was one that we talked about even years ago, and I think you'd know who it was if you heard the voice. It was a long time ago.
Was it Darth Vader?
They got their ex. It was Darth Vader. That's right. They got back with Padme. He saved her from dying. He learned to use the dark side of the Force and gain pathways to abilities that were unnatural.
We lost him already.
You did this. I blame you. But got back with their ex, right?
That transition.
Yeah. So,
but it's true. We have seen people reach out after a long period of time. Now, we do want you to be able to focus on your personal growth. If you are very narrow-minded and success means getting my ex back, and that's the only definition of success you have, this is going to be a lot harder for you, right? You can't have your success, your personal growth be dependent on what somebody else chooses to do here. We want to remind you that you have agency over your own choices and, where you choose to go. We highly encourage you to do a lot of self-reflection on your breakup. We give you a lot of tools to help you repair things and to not let your anxiety override during a breakup. And that's our hope.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting back with your ex, or at least having an opportunity to get back with your ex, is not a rare miracle. It is not. When you leave them alone, when you go into no contact, as we teach it, no reaching out, and you truly focus on healing instead of chasing or trying to manipulate, a lot of times at some point your ex is going to reach out And you'll be shocked on that day because it's always shocking.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to remember all the things that you've been learning and truly doing in no contact. If you keep focusing on what they're doing, watching their stories or where they're at, it's going to drive you crazy and it's going to keep you distracted on what is the most important. So focus on the growth, and when they come back, you're going to be a lot more likely to turn things around. I know you may feel like it's been too long. Exes come back off after all the time. Now, I want to say it is not guaranteed. Okay? There's no guarantee. Some of you will not hear from your ex. But our goal is to get you to really grow, to work through your attachment issues, to become a more confident version of yourself. So it will help you within yourself and how confident you are with anybody that you date. And that is the beauty in what we teach. It's not just to get an ex back. All this stuff that we teach will help you with anyone that you get into a relationship with, or just feeling more confident within yourself, even if you want to stay single.
Right. None of this is in vain. Just remember that, because many of you have this mentality of, oh my gosh, this waiting feels so long, because it's very narrow-minded. You know, there's a specific thing that you're in queue for, right? So if you're able to expand your view of, okay, I'm preparing myself, and this repairing with my ex could be one of those possibilities, you know, but there could be other possibilities beyond what you could imagine, right?
Absolutely.
So we want to keep you positive. We want to keep you hopeful.
All right. Hopefully this one's been helpful to you. If you'd like to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.